What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's
Talk
good,
to
bro?
me, baby. How we living this morning, man?
What's popping, man? I'm good. How about
Man,
you?
come on, man. You know what it is. Super early on the West Coast. Super tired, and I might have mixed my schedule up this morning. So check it out. You know, I always call the little ones. 3:25 out here for my oldest. Then I hit him again at that 5:30-ish time frame. So I gets up 3:25 this morning. I calls my oldest as she's getting ready for school, and I'm like, dang, KK, are you not awake? It's real dark over there. What's going on? She says, Dad, you don't remember? I said, remember what? She said, I got a 2-hour delay. I said, I was like, so you telling me I could have slept till like 5:20-ish instead of 3:20-ish? And then, of course, because now I'm frantic that I've, awakened her a little bit too early, then I don't go back to sleep because I'm like, I was feeling guilty. But now I just realized that, hey, I got a little bit of a predicament. I don't have time for us to have our show go all the way to 7:45 or 7:45 my time, which is like 9:45 your time, because I gotta have time to call my littles, man. Or excuse me, 10:45. Let me correct that time, right? So with that being said, we're gonna have to shut it down a little bit early, right at that 30-minute mark, so that way I got time to talk to the littles before they head off to school, because it is a 2-hour delay, and you already know, man, I gotta talk to me familiar, baby. All right. So just wanted to give you the heads up and give the chat the heads up as well.
I think everyone understands. It's
Well,
all good. What the hell's the
we
2-hour
hope so.
delay for, though?
Bro, that's the beauty of school, man. Like every month they're supposed to have at least a delay. Yeah, so that's like normal protocol, man.
Even in May, even in June.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Really?
always. Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's like been going on. Heck yeah. You always have to
That's
either
one.
have like,
That's just once a month.
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
What's
you're
the
gonna have a
reasoning?
2-hour delay. A lot of it, some of it is for planning for the teachers, some of it is for
Yeah.
like cleaning purposes, and then some of, like I said, just mentally to give the children a little bit of a break coming in that thing. Yeah. Or you'll have like, think about it no different as a when it's like a teacher work day. And you're like, well, we're out of school. Couldn't y'all do this on a Saturday? But it's like, why do they want to come in on a Saturday? So that's always the reason why it's always going to have like some type of day off, some type of delay every month of the year for school at
Okay.
least. Yeah. Mhm. Man,
Okay. I got you.
when you start having some of them little deeks running around here, you gonna be hip. You can be hip. You can be over here like, yo, can we get 2 of those 2-hour delays each month, please? I need like 2.5.
Did they replace the teacher day off for the 2-hour delay then?
No.
Or
So
do you still have both going?
they'll still have them, but they sprinkle those in. It's not as consistent with the teacher work
Okay.
days as it is for the 2-hour delays. Yeah,
Okay. Hey, learn
yeah,
something
man.
new every day, man.
Yeah, but like I said,
Yeah,
man,
because weather's fine out here. It's
oh
been like
yeah,
60, 70 degrees.
well, and the thing now with the technology, they don't even give you snow days. They're just like, girl, you can go virtual now. Yeah, game changer.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
That's actually terrible.
Game changer. Yeah. So that was the big thing, because obviously before COVID, nobody did virtual. It was always, yo, if you're not in school, then it's out. But since the
You just get
virtual
the
thing
day off.
happened, yeah, now they're like, nah, no, it's a snow day. Oh, it's snow. Oh, we'll give you a 2-hour delay, but we can be all virtual for the rest of the day today. And you're like, dude, what the? This ain't cool.
That's really not cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah. So it's the
I
gift and
know
the curse of
technology's a
technology.
good thing, but
It's the
there
gift
are
and the
its
curse, bro.
downsides. Really are.
Yes. And that, my friend, is one of them. But with that being said, man, since, we're going to be taking this thing to, like I said, that 30-minute mark, let's go ahead and start this thing off. So with that being said, let us know where you are tuning in from. We will give you that big boy shout out as we get the show rolling.
Mike Matizich, 732 Hazlet, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Still unpacking from the move.
I swear,
Best
that's
of luck
like the
with that.
worst part. I hate that part. It took me like 2 years to unpack one time. Like, I think I'm still unpacking from the move that I made 6 years ago to the house that me and wifey currently in. Still got boxes downstairs. Like, bro, we're going to get to that later.
Ramiro Rodriguez, the 602, Phoenix, Arizona. Sequoia Harris, 718, Bronx, New York. Yes.
Let's go.
AJ Martinez just saying good morning to Steelers Nation. Let's go.
Hey, shout out, baby.
Dave Shipley, 321 Merritt Island, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Malaysia, I just thought it'd be a good idea to read this one
Just
off.
thought it'd be a
He
good
says,
idea.
just want to apologize for missing the last couple of weeks. My wife was in the hospital with serious health issues.
Oh, man.
We're praying for her.
Nah, definitely
But
praying
things
for her,
appear to
man.
be getting better. Thanks for the best podcast, Moats and Deke.
Whew. Man, definitely.
Hey, if you
glad
got that
she's
to
getting
take
better,
care of,
dude.
miss as many shows as you need, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. Family first, always, man. You can always catch us on the replay. But yeah, man, definitely glad to hear that wifey is getting better. I think that's what you said. She's getting better. So, man,
Yeah.
definitely good to hear that, man. We'll continue to keep her on our thoughts and prayers, though, as well, man.
Hey, you want me to read off some more? Do you want any?
Yeah. Actually, let me hop in this thing real quick, man. You know, I got to get in this thing. All right, we got Rod Young tuning in from Canada, Montreal, in the house, home of GSP. Yes, indeed. That's Georgia St. Pierre, you know, a UFC legend. And he also said Celine Dion. And we all know who Celine Dion is, right? Near, far, wherever you are. All right, my bad. I got a little happy this morning. And, you know, obviously he says Rod Young is from there as well. So shout out to him in the building. We got Mr. Hammer ZZ. Good morning, still in nation. Oh, never mind. Then we got Nikki. That's who it was. Nikki Gitchell. Bro, this chat hit me with the jump. Oh, man, I see you. Hold on. There he is, the 716. Shout out to the Stills. You know, I'm familiar with the 716. It sounds real Buffalo-y to me now that I think about it. I told you it wasn't me, Deke. I told you. The 716 is definitely Buffalo, man. I didn't make this up. It's not my call, man. It's not my call. And then also, Ryan Johnson, 757 Norfolk, VA, a.k.a. The Crib. Let's go. All right. And we get a couple more. Then after that, man, we will start this thing off, baby. Sound good?
Works for me. Damon Brown, 478, making Georgia in the building. Oh, he says keep Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, because you've been.
Have you seen the buzz?
I've been seeing the buzz, man. I've definitely been seeing it about, you know, his back and forth, his dilemma. Where does he want to play?
What you think? Fake news, realness?
No. I think it's real in a sense because being a guy who's not to that level of contracts, but a guy who played for a team for 4 years, played for another team for 4 years. Before I left Buffalo, man, I was torn. Like, even though I was kind of pissed with the situation and I was definitely upset with, you know, the new management and new, you know, suits that were in the building, you still wanted to stay because it was like, yo, these are my guys here. These are my brothers, guys that I've, you know, kind of grown up in the league with. They've seen me get married. They see me have children. And you get invested in the community as well. So it's like, man, you know, playing-wise, like, it was probably a better situation for me to go over here. But you just are torn because your heart is there because that's all you've known. So that's like, I could definitely understand that feeling. And I think even in Pittsburgh, not the first time when I was about to hit the market, but that last time I was like, dang, like, I ain't really trying to leave. Like, you know, like, I love it here. This is fun. But then at the same time, you're like, man, I don't know if this is going to make the most sense, this and that. And, you know, things kind of work out the way that they do. But for Aaron Rodgers, when you think about his level, it's like, dude, you can pick essentially any team you would want to go to. Like, that's a whole nother ball game. And you know money isn't even an issue for you now. So it's just kind of like you really get to decide, like, man, do I really want to stay in Green Bay? Or do I want to go to one of these other teams that I know they're going to have pieces there for me, or I know they'll make even more accommodations for me? Or sometimes you just need that fresh start. That's the other part. And I think for him, man, seeing other guys do it and be successful. Tom Brady did it. You see, John Blank. It was a couple other guys.
Matt Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford. Absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't his choice, but still.
Right. But you've seen guys now leave where they were at for long periods of time and still have instant success. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, that definitely, you know, comes to the picture now. Whereas beforehand, you might have not thought that you could have done it that way. But even dating back to what Peyton Manning did, he was able to leave and go to another place and win, man. So that has to be on his mind as well, because we know for him, he's going to be heavily evaluated on getting back to another Super Bowl or not. Prior to this season, I mean, that was the thing, right? It was like, oh man, he's great. But now seeing him fall again short of getting back to the game, now people are looking at him differently. Now they're like, well, maybe he's not this quarterback that we think he is because he can't get it done in these moments versus a Jimmy Garoppolo, baby. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in a sense, man, I definitely think it has some validity to it.
Any feelings on the Pittsburgh connection and the offer on the table?
Honestly, I think that there is an offer on the table solely because with Kevin Colbert, this is a weird type of season for us, right? We've never been in a situation where we didn't have a franchise quarterback, but we have a ton of resources to go out and acquire a guy. Now, I don't necessarily think that it would be the best move per se because of what it could do potentially to the rest of the roster. But at the same time, it's like, if he has interest, and we know he's arguably the best quarterback in the league coming off of back-to-back MVP seasons, why wouldn't you put that offer out there? And that's kind of how I looked at it. So in that sense, like, I do think it has some validity. Now, I don't know what his level of interest is in Pittsburgh, with whether
or what our offer was.
Right. If that offer and interest is better than what Denver could potentially be offering him, or even what Green Bay could be offering him as well to come back there. So that's the part for me where it's like, just because it's an offer, it doesn't guarantee that he would be wanting to come to us anyways. But I do think that there is some validity to that based on, our cap situation, the need that we have, and knowing that Kevin Colbert does not want to rebuild. He wants to make sure that they stay relevant, that this team is still, in that conversation. And unfortunately with Mason right now, you have to do a lot more work around him to keep us in that conversation right now. Whereas you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and we've said this plenty of times, now it goes back to that model of, it doesn't matter who's a wide receiver. If you got Aaron Rodgers, he should be the force multiplier. He should be able to make any of these guys out here look way better. And that's kind of like the thought process that I could see it being with the Steelers looking at Aaron Rodgers in that regard.
Yeah, and then you can maybe even bring in free agents for cheaper too.
Right.
With quality veterans that are looking for the Super Bowl, looking to compete. Yeah. Just because you have Aaron, you saw what happened with the Bucs these past couple seasons. Like, Jesus,
people were going in for cheap. They were
going Leonard
for way
Fournette
cheaper,
is signing on the cheap.
Yeah.
You got Richard Sherman coming over there for nothing.
Yeah,
and they ended up having a stacked lineup.
Think about, they got AB for what, crumbs the first year. When he won the Super Bowl, he was paid crumbs. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why I didn't even think it was a realistic option. Mm-hmm. But if it is, I'm for it just for all those reasons. Like, I want to compete as much as I had my whole thing last year with the fake fans calling for Aaron Rodgers and stuff. Now Ben's retired. This is where we're sitting. Aaron Rodgers is better than Mason Rudolph. If we could bring him in, this is the franchise type of guy you're going to be looking for anyway, even if it's only for two or 3 years.
Right. And that's
give yourself that chance.
And I feel like that's the part that people forget because they're so gung-ho on, well, you don't pay these type of quarterbacks that type of money. Don't bring in Aaron Rodgers. He's aging. Don't bring in Aaron Rodgers. He's always complaining. Don't bring in Aaron Rodgers, this and that. And it's like, well, none of those free agent quarterbacks that we've talked about, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, or any of these drafted quarterbacks are going to be the type of guys that draw free agents in for cheap. Aaron Rodgers is that type of guy. People forget that. Like you said, Tampa Bay was a prime example. As soon as Brady went down to Tampa became the hot spot for free agents. Sue and Ndamukong Suh, remember, he went there. Everybody was trying to go. It's like, yo, I want to go. Shady McCoy, what do you do, man? Hey, y'all got space for me? I can come play. I can use some reps. Like, everybody wanted to go there, man, offensively, defensively. And that's the part for me where I say, yeah. Now imagine you start getting one or two of those marquee or not marquee, but just higher end free agents coming to you on a discount because you got this quarterback here. Now all of this, oh, you've killed the roster, we don't have the pieces, goes out the window. Because now you got these guys coming in there for team-friendly deals only because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers is there and he gives them the best chance to win a Super Bowl. So for me, man, I can definitely see that being the case. No different if he goes to Denver. I think it will be a similar. I think you'll see guys wanting to go to Denver with him because he's that type of quarterback. He's that type of draw, and guys need rings. Guys got to get Super Bowls because that's what it is. That's how we judge people now. So for me, man, I could definitely see that being the case, man, and that's why I still entertain it.
Yeah. You want me to get some of these super chats?
Yeah, let's get it.
Baron Bradford. Oh, this is what we have coming up anyway, too. He says draft winners. Defensive tackle, Travis Jones. Cornerback, Alontae Taylor. Cornerback, Sauce Gardner. Cornerback, Kier Elam.
Yes,
cornerback,
indeed.
Tyreek Woolen. Safety, Bubba Bolden. Safety, Lewis Klein. Safety, Marquez Bell.
I think it's Marquise. Yeah, I like him, though. He's out of Florida A&M. Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
Guard, Zion Johnson. Wide receiver, Alec Pierce. Yes, we're going to be talking our winners and losers.
No, without a doubt. That's coming up as soon as we start, baby.
Let's go, UW. Talking some smacks. Yo, Moats and Deke just dropping some numbers saying Muma outperformed Lloyd during the combine.
Oh, we're going to rap? Absolutely, we're going to talk. Absolutely.
Chad Muma, 40 in vertical, 4.66 40 time. Devin Lloyd, 35 in vertical, 4.7, 140 time. And then the 40 is unofficial.
I like how you put the last one up there. His official was 4.66 for Devin Lloyd, but I got what you. I got your
that's
point.
what I thought too. I was like, where did this 4.7 come from?
Yeah. But we know how it goes. It just makes the story better. I got you. We'll get to it.
He's pulling a Deke. Black and Martyr. Just give us some
what was his
support.
slowest time? Whatever his slowest time, that's what we're going with today.
Zach Adams. Thoughts on Sky Moore from Western Michigan?
Oh, man. We definitely, trust me, he's the next on the list. That after we talk about Chad, we're going to be talking about Sky as well. Yeah, he definitely lit it up, man.
Farron Bradford. If we sign center Ryan Jensen.
This the one right here.
What O-line position should we draft in what round? You think the Jensen talk is real?
No, it's definitely real. But the problem is he's going to have contenders. Number one, he could go back to Baltimore where he started his career at. Number two, I think Cincinnati is looking for him as well. They were just in the Super Bowl. And then obviously we want him, but I think the New York Jets are another team that's heavily interested in him, and Tampa Bay wants to re-sign him potentially. Now, I think his mark is around 10. I think he's around 10 mil per year.
At least.
Yeah, but Pro Bowl, he was the starting center for the Bucs when they won the Super Bowl. He had a Pro Bowl that year as well. I mean, he's a really good player. We're not even going to trip on that. But yeah, if we're able to get him at a reasonable cost, because when you start having multiple teams wanting his services, that does mean that you could get into a little bit of a bidding war, and that will raise his price a little bit more than I personally would like for us to pay for him. But
yeah, all of a sudden it goes up to 13 or 14.
Right. And now I'm like, I don't want to do that. If we're talking about 10, maybe 11, it's like, that's cool. I would even flirt with 12-ish, but I don't want to go higher than that. But when you start having multiple teams like that, that's how that number skyrockets. But yeah, I mean, if you get Jensen in here, then I'm probably looking at tackle, whether it be right or left. I would just go tackle, and I wouldn't even feel the rush to do it first round, probably, second or third round, just to continue to bring in another quality guy, or try to find another mid-level guy in free agency that's a little bit more proven. We talked about some of these guys that, we could potentially look at in terms of being on the open market and stuff like that, or potentially being on the open market that play the tackle position that we could try to acquire. So I would kind of take that approach with it. But Ryan Jensen, I mean, he's a heck of a player, man, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm not opposed. Obviously, we need O-line help. Without a doubt. What do you want to do? Pick your poison. You want to do the draft? You want to do free agency? We're gonna have to address it one way or another. So if it is through free agency, pay him 10 mil, maybe pay a tackle another 10 mil or something in double digits, and then sign another guy or two, and then just do the rest of the draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although, well, we got to do restructures then too, because we still need room for Witherspoon and also Terrell Edmonds in there. But I think that's really feasible with a Schobert cut and maybe a restructure or two. We could pull that off.
Yeah.
Let's go UW. Rappaport. No, I might be skipping one. No. That was Farron Bradford. All right, so let's go UW. Rappaport already confirmed Green Bay didn't receive any offers. PFT and Florio are full of it.
Now, what I want to know is this, though, in the sense of offers, are they talking about just sense of like, hey, man, we're willing to offer this pick and that pick type situation? I don't necessarily feel like that. You know how I feel about Rappaport, bro.
There's no way Green Bay hasn't received
That's what
offers.
I'm saying, bro. And like, we're talking about Ian Rappaport. If this is Shefty, this is totally different. I don't value Rappaport to say, I get you. I get what you're saying, though. I get it. That's my whole thing, though. But time's going to tell, man.
You think Green Bay's just using them. That's all.
Time will tell. That's all. Time will tell, man. And plenty of times they say, oh, man, there's no offer or there's no interest. And then what happens? Offer, interest, boom, deal done. So I'm not worried about any of that. Like I said, now it's still different. Like if he chooses to go to Denver, he can still choose to do that, regardless of what's out there. But this whole, oh, yeah, man, I haven't received any. No offers for that. Okay, sound good.
They definitely have received calls or offers. That has to be the case. Saying, now, whether or not they're taking them legitimately or not, that's
a different conversation. Yeah.
Because the PFT report is there are offers already in place for each of these teams if Rodgers makes his decision. Now, that may be a stretch. That could be a stretch. Vegas, STJG. Now, you can each – wait, what is this? Now you can each get an extra gallon of gas and a bag of chips. Are y'all coming to Vegas for the draft? Keep up the great work, fellas. Oh, through his donation.
Oh, I was like, man, am I missing something here?
He's starting a GoFundMe for our trip to Vegas.
We appreciate you, Ben. Absolutely, man. No, we do appreciate your support. I'm personally not going to Vegas for the draft. I'm not going to lie. When I leave and I go back home, y'all not going to see me for a little bit, okay? I'm catching up with wifey and the kids. I ain't going to be at nobody's draft. I ain't going to be at nobody's anything. I'm going to be right at the Casa de Moats, okay? Having a grand old time catching up on everything that I've been missing out on these past long, however many days I've been out here now. That's what I'm
You're close.
Doing. Yeah.
You're on the better end of it, right?
Just don't tease me. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it because the more I think about it, the more it's like, God, it's not here yet. So we're not even doing that. I'm here. Today is my day. That's all I'm focused on. One day at a time. I'm in training camp mode.
You're learning.
One day at a time.
You're learning.
I'm in training camp mode,
things.
man. Yeah.
Alex Mathis, what's y'all's guess on what the offer the Packers would be? The offer to the Packers would be, and what would be too much in y'all pick?
I mean, we know it's gonna have to include at least one first rounder, at least one.
A couple. It has
That's
to be
what I'm saying.
First.
Like at
maybe
least,
even 3.
That's what I'm saying, man. So
and a player or two, maybe.
Right, like it's gonna be a substantial thing, but at the same time, I don't think I want to say I saw reports where Green Bay isn't gonna try to hold him hostage either, though, in terms of making it be the biggest, best deal possible. Now they're gonna make sure that it's a deal respectable for them and they're comfortable with it, but I don't feel like I feel like they've said that they're not gonna try to like do it some crazy thing to make him not be able to be moved. They said if he wants to be moved, they will be able to do that. So that does at least give me a little bit of hope. If the
Steelers have a little bit worse been on than the Broncos, but Rodgers wants to go to the Steelers, they'll make the move.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my understanding.
Right. That's kind of how I interpreted it as well. So if that is the case, I mean, we know it's still going to be hefty, but maybe not all the way hefty and gory, just hefty, you know? So hopefully it's just like that.
Yeah. All right. We're caught up on the Super Chats.
All right. So, man, with that being said, let's get into this first topic, man. Talking about the winners and losers. Well, some winners and some losers from the Combine. And, yeah, man. This is pretty interesting. I got to go right to I said this on, was it Friday show? I said, when we decide to start the show today, we're going right to Let's Go UW's guy, Chad Muma. And ladies and gentlemen, Chad did not disappoint. In fact, man, Chad was top notch, man. He showed that he has elite level athleticism, man, that he is just as good or if not better than some of these guys from an athletic testing perspective. 4.63 in his 40, 27 bench reps, 40-inch vert in the 10-9 broad. Man, when you talk about the 40-inch vert in the 10-9 broad, that is crazy explosiveness. That's being able to get out your hips, man. And that's what you want in terms of those linebackers, man. Being explosive athletes. That helps with the change of direction. That helps when they're tackling guys as well. That broad jump especially, bursting out those hips like that. But then the 27 bench reps, I believe that was the highest mark at the or the highest for the linebackers, if I remember correctly. Just shows off the strength that he has as well, man. So even though I say that he looked a little, smaller or leaner, like tall and lean because he's 6'3", that's what he measured in at the Combine. The 27 reps shows that, nah, man, my guy is still strong. I mean, he's stronger than me. I did 24. So I'm like, man, salute you, Chad. I like this. But the 4.63, man, that was the one for me that I definitely liked. I was like, man, obviously the 4.4s that we saw throwing out there and some of the low 4.5s look great. But when I look at Chad's tape, along with the testing that he did and the strength that he has, I mean, to me, that definitely solidifies him to me as a first or second. I think he's definitely going to go in that second personally, but I think he's in that second round now, like officially, because of what he was able to do testing wise. Another guy that I thought stood out, and we talked about Sky Moore, obviously on the other pot, or excuse me, on Friday's show, I believe it was as well. I mean, we knew he lit it up. We knew, the 4.4 win that he ran and how he was smoothing the routes that really helped him out. But how about the other linebacker that we were talking about, the athlete, former quarterback turned linebacker, and Troy Anderson? Bro, he blew the Combine out the water as well. He dropped that 4.42 40, 36-inch vert, and then the 10.8 broad. I was like, bruh, whoa. Now, we knew you were fast on film because we talked about that. We said, he looks, he just looks like a good athlete. He felt like he ran well, but we didn't know he was 4.42 fast. I thought he was kind of like 4.5 fast. 4.42, that's rolling. That's rolling. And then the 36-inch vert, explosive. The 10-8 broad, super explosive. So both of those guys, for me, especially at that inside linebacker spot, I felt like they made themselves, some good money and definitely improved their draft stock, because that was the big question for both of those guys. Two other guys, though, that I thought in that linebacker group that they helped themselves. Christian Harris, from Alabama. I remember watching him on tape thinking that, he was going to be 240-ish, and he was going to probably run 4.6-ish, 4.5 at best. But he comes in at, I think it was 226 and runs 4.4. I was like, bro, I did not know that you had that. Now, that does, make him a little bit more intriguing. But I do feel like with him, he already had a lot of buzz. But it's just good to know that he has that type of speed. And then, I feel like any player that
maybe
Georgia,
he goes he was solidly in the second, maybe goes early second, and does someone take a flyer on him late first, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But then I also thought of the other Georgia player, because I felt like Georgia went there and just said, hey, this is our combine, this is our year. So every Georgia player,
where I've listed down. I just have Georgia players for
every
winners.
Georgia player balled out. So like Channing Tindall, remember we talked about, he's fast. He went out there and dropped 4.47. I'm like, I got to call Jarvis up. Like, Jarvis, what are y'all doing with these guys down here? Where do you find these athletes? Between Channing, Jordan Davis, they going, the DN Walker. I'm like, bro, like, what's going on down there, man? Is there something in the water? What you feeding these guys, JJ? Talk to me here, man, because this is crazy. It's crazy.
Well, when Keith Stewart even brings up in the chat, Jordan Davis, dude. Holy hell.
Dude, what the heck, man?
4.78, and he says faster 40 than Baker and Mahomes.
Seriously, bro. It's 6'6", 341. 6'6", 341 pounds, Deke. 4'7", 840. 32-inch vert and a 10.3 broad jump. When I saw the 10th, I said, dude, I jumped like 10.2. What the heck is this? I said, wait a minute. I started feeling attacked a little bit, like, yo, Jordan, bro, you ain't supposed to be able to do that. That's not normal. Shoot, think about 4.78. He's only, 5/10 slower than Kenny Pickett? Kenny ran 4.73. I was like, yo, this is nuts, man. That is nuts.
You got to see his explosiveness and the highlights and on film and stuff.
Yeah.
But you didn't get to see his rundown and chase down ability that, well, maybe we get to see. Who knows? If we drafted him, let's just say if we drafted him, is he pulling like the Cam Hayward and stuff? That's not a dude you want chasing you down, like down the field, man. or even if you're a quarterback, just to even think, man, he's as fast as Mahomes or Baker Mayfield, if not faster. Like Keith Stewart brought up in the comments, like that's pretty lethal.
For me, man, going back to Jordan, I think that he definitely helped himself out in a major way, because with Jordan, the knock was what? Man, if you draft this guy in the first round, he's only going to play 20% of the snaps. Well, I think that this shows that he has the ability to play more than that. This shows that, number one, his conditioning was good, because he wasn't even tired after doing his workout. You watch him doing the field work, man, he moved extremely well. Whether you're talking about him backpedaling a little bit and bursting, whether you're talking about him having to go through the bags doing his pass rush, and then showing good bend as well. So he showed the athletic ability. He showed the flexibility as well. But at the same time, the conditioning looked good, because he was not breathing hard. He looked fine. And for me, it just makes me feel like, man, I don't mind getting him in the first if he's available, because I do think that, he might start out playing 30 to 40% of these snaps, but I think he can easily evolve into a 60% of the snaps type of guy, 70% at best. I don't want to have him out there too long, because with bigger body guys, they get fatigued. And when they get fatigued, they play high, and they're just not going to be, as good as they can be. But I definitely think that Jordan has, kind of quieted that whole, he's only going to be able to play 20%. You're drafting him for just 2 downs. It's like, man, if you're getting a dominant 2-down run stuffer who has pass rush ability, like you said, his bull rush is very much legitimate. It's like, man, you feel like you can still win with that. He's still going to be worth that pick. Now, for us, I just don't know if he's still available. He might be.
That's what everyone's saying in the chat. They're like, he won't make the 20.
Right, I think he's going to be
Mathis
gone
will be
too
gone by
early
15.
now, man. Yeah, that's my thing. I think because of how well he performed, he's not going to be available to us now at that 20 mark. Kind of like we talk about Sky Moore. It's like, man, with Sky, it's like, man, is he, are you getting him at 52, or do you have to potentially bump up a little bit in that second down because of the 4.41 with the tape that he has? Those are some of the things that it's like the gift and the curse with the combine. But a couple other guys, man, that I thought really helped themselves out on the back end, DBs here. Sauce Gardner come in, measured at 6'3". Dude, that's long. That good size out there at the cornerback spot. Not that 5'9", that 5'10" that you was trying to, say, oh man, a couple inches ain't that big of a deal. Deke, don't you play. So every inch counts. All right. But for him to be 6'3" and then still drop that 4.41 with the tape that he has, is showing the fundamentals that he has, man, I think that Sauce really showed that, he is that premier guy. He's that top guy in this class, for me at least. And then Jaquan Brisker, guy that we talked about up here a week ago, drops to 4.49. I mean, for me, man, seeing that type of speed from him, it looked really good because he's a guy that we thought was a little bit more physical than anything. But it was like, man, it's good to see that he can legit play in that middle with that type of speed. And then I had to bring up another one of Tomlin's disciples, a Maryland guy, Nick Cross.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nick Cross had himself a day. He weighed in. He came in 6'1", 212. So that's good size at that safety spot, man. Thick. All right. But that 4.3, 440, 4.34 Deke, stupid. 37-inch vert, 10 broad. Yeah, that's crazy explosiveness right there. That's some big power, man. I definitely like that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to list off a couple of guys I got?
Yeah,
man?
absolutely, man.
I mean, I'm with you. Hey, I'm with you on everything that you said there.
Yeah.
Although with Muma, are we wrong?
Mm-hmm. What's up?
Are we wrong in saying we thought he was going to be a little faster?
No, I definitely did. But at the same time,
we thought he was going to run faster than you, right? Or you were saying that at least.
Yeah, I thought that he would, at the 4.5 would be dope for him. But at the same time, like I told you, 4.63 on the laser, to me, is still 4.7s when you're talking hand time, because that's the difference between them stopping it at your head in terms of the first thing that crosses. Think about a race, right? With Usain Bolt, they don't wait till his hip crosses. They do what? The first thing that breaks the plane. First thing breaks the plane, he's a 4.57, 4.58 guy. When you're talking 4.63 on the laser, that means you have to wait till your whole body passes through. So I'm not tripping on that. To me, that's fast for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you combine it with the other stuff too.
Right.
And showing that type of explosiveness. So yeah, 4.6. Actually, yeah, that's probably within the lines of just like, all right, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that wasn't his best effort or wasn't his best performance there, but at the same time, you know what? We see what he does on the field. This at least confirms that he's in that range, and then you add some of the other stuff. So overall, I can't really say he had a bad combine for sure. If anything, it's way more positive.
Yeah, he was like,
now I got the Georgia guys. Obviously, we just talked about
any Georgia player that showed up, man.
Damone Clark from LSU.
Oh yeah, he looked good. He looked good.
4.5 speed. I mean, he's already got good size, and he was looking pretty good a month or so ago. I remember I was watching some of his highlights. We were doing linebackers. I accidentally was watching his for some reason. I was like, oh, bro. His height and everything, his speed, he could be one of these modern linebackers for us. And they had him later. I think they had him around 3rd or 4th, but he was slowly climbing up the mock drafts. And now with this 4.5, I think that definitely helped him a lot. The running backs, Breece Hall, Pierre Strong, Kenneth Walker, all
Kenneth looked good. Kenneth looked good.
Good verticals.
Yeah, he looked good.
All those type of attributes. Like they're probably going to go, well, at least Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, they're talking about them 2nd round. But Pierre Strong, maybe he finds himself in the 3rd or 4th now because he was a running back that was a little bit more of a sleeper, but showed very similar numbers as Hall and Walker in this combine. So he got helped out with that. Just those 3 running backs as a whole. Malik Willis, obviously, we talked about with the arm strength and everything. I think he's finding himself top 15, top 10.
Yeah,
that's where it feels like the buzz is going.
Bro. What about Desmond, though? How about Desmond Ritter? I thought that he looked impressive as well, man.
Solid. He might find himself in the bottom of the 1st right now. I wouldn't be shocked.
He was a lot more athletic than I thought he was going to test. I mean, he tested really well, man.
And he looked good in the Senior Bowl. I said he had the best performance in the Senior Bowl out of all the quarterbacks. Like, he's having a good little offseason here before the draft.
You know who else? Who else we were just talking about in that quarterback room that had themselves a day at the combine? E.J. Perry.
I didn't see his stuff. What'd he do?
Bro, he went out there and dropped 4.65 on the 40, 34.5-inch vertical, and then had a 10.3 broad jump, bro. Yes, he was out that thing getting off. We thought that he was athletic when we watched him on tape, and we said, they could do some things with his mobility. We thought that we liked him a little bit better than a Bailey Zappi or any of those other guys. And we said, man, he kind of comps like a Tyler Heineke and everything like that. But the 4.65, man, that's legit for him, man. I was definitely impressed with that.
Yeah. And then I also have just receivers, just multiple receivers, all the guys that ran fast.
All
Thornton.
All the guys.
Yeah. Alec Pierce, Ohio State receivers.
Yeah.
Dotson out of Penn State. I'm probably missing a guy or two. Christian Watson. All those receivers.
Christian Watson
Sky Moore.
Christian Watson definitely made himself some money because we talked about him and it was like, man, he looked good on tape, but you didn't know how good he was in terms of the speed and the intangibles. And that showed up in a major way with his performance, man. I mean, he was way more athletic than I thought he was going to be in terms of not just the speed, but the broad jump as well. He was top notch across the board, man.
Yeah, I have Anderson listed here too. Tight end out of Maryland. He's getting some buzz just for his 40. I don't know enough about him. I also, because I didn't get to see him, some people were writing that he dropped some balls too, but they're saying that the 40 kind of outweighs that. People are more pumped about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my list right now. Of all the, we have similar stuff. Mainly, a lot of the Georgia guys, though. I mean, I have 4 or 5 of the Georgia guys listed here.
I literally just put like UGA, any player from Georgia that showed up. Not even, it was Jordan Davis. Now I'm drawing a blank on the other Georgia D tackle as well. That was kind of, Jordan Davis's Robin. He still
Wyatt,
went out there.
Yeah,
he was the other one. Wyatt, he went out there and had it.
4.7
like I said,
too. Yeah.
Walker showed that he could have the athletic ability and the speed to play on the outside full time as well. I thought as a whole, man, all of those dudes look really good out there, man.
Yeah. Loser.
All right. Now, I didn't want to go too in depth. I didn't want a long list of losers because, I don't like the negative association with it. But we have to talk about the guys that had higher expectations and kind of underwhelmed. Let's go UW. I got to start with the homie then. Devin Lloyd, you called him out. You're absolutely right, man. I'm
excited about him. I'm excited about him falling.
No, it's a great situation that he tested bad, but at the same time, it does draw a little bit concern. The 4.66 is a far cry from what everyone thought he would be running. 4.66, when you look at his athletic ability and the way he was closing on tape, it makes you wonder, like, man, well, why did it look like this versus timing like this? And those are some of the things that don't really add up. They don't really match up. So you ask yourself context. All right, was it because of the quality of competition? Or is it slower players that he's playing with? Or could it be the, unpredictable schedule that you have to deal with at the combine and it just got the best of him? But then you ask yourself, well,
a little under the weather or something. Yeah.
Right. But then it's like, well, is he going to be able to adapt to change when it's in season? When instead of playing on Sunday, you're playing on a Thursday night game? Instead of playing on Sunday, you play on Monday? Is he going to be able to adapt to said change? Like, those are some of the things that come up with him. And like I said, man, just when you're watching him in some of the drill work, he did not look fluid. That was the part that just continued to just bug my mind. Like, why are you looking like you're not this elite athlete? You're looking like average. Then you weren't displaying good ball skills. I mean, he was, struggling to catch the rock. Like I said, just didn't move well. But for me, man, just context, I was like, yo, with the combine, as I've told you, man, they have you on a crazy schedule. They do all type of things to shock your body physically and psychologically. And then they have you test the last day you're there when everything is going wrong for you in terms of no sleep, in terms of your eating schedule being off, in terms of your sleep schedule being off. You stay in meetings with, some of these execs and some of these teams. It's like FBI interrogation, spotlight on you. Everybody else kind of in that dark. That messes with you a little bit. You're staying up till midnight doing these interviews, and then you have to get up at 4 a.m. to do a drug test. You have to get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to go get MRIs, and then they have you test. So could that have affected them? Sure. But either way, it's like, man, I don't want to hear the excuses because everybody there had to deal with same things. And That's the part where it's like, I'm excited about him potentially dropping, but at the same time, it's like, well, what makes a Chad Muma be able to handle this situation? What makes a Troy Anderson be able to handle a situation where they were nowhere in the spotlight that Devin Lloyd has been in this season, and they rose to that occasion with no problem? So those are some of the reasons why with Devin, I was a little bit harder on him. But yeah, I still think it's a good thing that he might fall. I ain't gonna lie to you, Deke.
Oh, yeah.
He's sitting around there at 20, bro. I ain't tripping. I'm like, hey.
I'm amped up about the 4.66, to be honest with you.
Hey,
now it gives us a chance. Because I'll trust way more of what I see in the game. Like you talk about maybe he was a little shaky with the ball skills at the combine. That's what we
Yeah.
praised him for
I
throughout his
know.
college career. So I'll
I know,
trust that
man.
over like some of this combine stuff.
I
But your
know.
point about maybe like the mental edge may be
Yeah.
fair, but I'll still take him 20 all day, every day.
Yeah.
I hope he falls to 20.
Yeah, man. But if he comes out there and he's looking slow, we're gonna be pissed, huh?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't know. Like I
okay.
said, I'll
Okay,
trust more of the game stuff. I'll
We
trust
get him
more of
out there
that.
on Sunday and we like, yo, why is he getting why guys running away from him all of a sudden? What's going on
Yeah,
here?
but you know
Yeah.
about like the in-game
I
speed and
know, I
just
know,
being
I
better at
know.
that. I'll lean way
Yeah.
more of what I saw with Devin Lloyd in game
Yeah.
than combine.
Now, do you put any stock to him playing at Utah versus if he's in the SEC? Would he look as fast?
Fair point to bring up. Fair point.
I'm just like, SEC speed a little different than, where he was playing at. That's all. But
Yeah, I
still,
get
like I
what
said,
you're
I'm
saying.
still with it. I'm not, I guess I don't shy
like,
away from him, but that is, it
here's
just
my
gives me a
thing.
little more context. That's all.
Right, here's my thing though, dude, because Chad Muma ran a 4.662, and we're
Mhm.
almost in a way looking that as more positive. I know our
Yeah.
expectations were higher for Devin Lloyd.
Well, because
but no,
Devin
Duke can
looked
ball.
way
That's
faster
my
on
thoughts.
tape. Devin looked way faster on tape. Devin looked like
He
a
did, right?
4.3
That's
guy,
what I mean. The
4.4
expectations
guy.
were a little bit
Yeah.
higher. That's why the 4.66
Right.
is disappointing.
Whereas
Whereas with Muma,
Chad, he
4.66
kind of ran
probably
what we
within
thought.
line of what we were
Yeah.
thinking.
And he wasn't
If not, maybe a
4.66. He
little
was
bit better.
4.63. Remember, one was 4.63. Let's say, don't you be boosting his time up like that, man. Keep that clock low, man. Keep that clock low. Yeah.
Just 4.6. You get what I mean?
Yes.
You get what I
There
mean.
we go.
But
There we go.
no, I'd still want Devin Lloyd. I'll
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah, if he is too slow and we draft him for some reason, whatever. Say that tape was bad, you could pull this
Yeah.
tape up, the clip of me saying that the Steelers want to draft him and put it on freezing cool takes, whatever. If Devin Lloyd's there at 20, I want him. I'm just telling you that right now.
No, I feel you on that, man. But a couple of other guys that I thought kind of hurt themselves a little bit at the draft. Kobe Bryant, he was another guy. Remember when we watched him on tape and I said my only question for him was how fast is he? Because we said, man, he wasn't this big corner in terms of his size. He was a little smaller. But I said, man, he gets ran away from a lot, but he closes well. He has great ball skills. He reads routes. But you see guys get separation on him. A 4.54, it's not the end of the world. But Lord, I don't feel like that helps his case in terms of going earlier in the draft. 4.54 for a guy.
Right, because people were talking about him round 2. Now he might be dropping round 3.
Right. That was definitely what I got from him, man, because I do think as a whole, with the 4.54, his technique is going to be fine. His vision is good. But kind of like we talked about with Cam Sutton, kind of like we talked about with James Pierre, when guys don't have elite level speed, they have to be perfect in every other aspect of their game, because if they allow a free release, if they allow a guy to get even with them on a vertical route, no different we saw with Jamar Chase being able to do it, not in the sense of Jamar Chase being an elite receiver, but elite speed. That was the difference. Whenever we had to face some of those faster guys, we struggled a little bit. And with a Kobe Bryant right now running at 4.54, you just feel like, man, if he's not sharp all the time, you might be able to take the top off on him, and that'd be something that you don't want to happen. But yeah, I definitely thought that hurt him a little bit. That 4.54, I was a little sad about that. Like, come on, Kobe, man, you nicer than that, baby. Come on, get in that 4.4 ish. It could be 4.49. This can't be 4.5. Can't be 4.5. Can't be 4.5. And then
I kind of feel the same way about him as Devin Lloyd, though. I mean, if he falls and now all of a sudden we can take him in the 3rd round, I'm a little more pumped.
See, I'm
because
not gonna lie,
I still
man.
liked what I saw of him in game.
I like what I saw, but I didn't. I don't know, man.
You're hesitant.
I don't like slow corners. It's that simple. I want fast corners because I know what speed does on that perimeter. I know what that speed looks like on that perimeter. And the same way we talk about Cam Sutton, it was like, yo, Cam Sutton, great technique, great fundamentals. And how many times we looking like, oh God, long foul ball. Okay, we're good. We're good. I don't like doing that. I kind of like it when it's, oh yeah, we got that corner that's running with him stride for stride. We got that guy that's just fast, and we got that guy that's either long speed or whatever. But it's like, that's just kind of how I feel about corners. I want them fast. At least 4.4. I think 4.4 is like where I cut it off at, because I think of Stephon Gilmore. Gilly isn't a 4.3, 4.2 guy. Gilly's a 4.4 guy. 4.45, I believe, when he came out. But you match 4.45 with his technique and everything else and his smarts, it makes him one of the prototypical corners out there. good size, physicality, but has the speed to run with 90% of these receivers out here. And that's at 4.45. That's kind of like I said, my cutoff for that speed. When you're talking 4.54 trying to be out there on that perimeter, you can run into legitimate issues, man. Like we talked about, dude, Tyquan Thornton, we didn't think he, was a world beater. He had really good statistics this past season, but when he goes there and runs that 4.28, I'm looking at Kobe like, okay, how do you handle that if you don't get those hands on him? How do you handle that if you're playing that off coverage like you like to play? In college, remember, in college, you could play off coverage 10 yards, 7 to 10 yards off or whatever, and still get physical with these guys downfield before that ball's in the air. In the NFL, you can't touch those guys after that 5 to 7 yard mark, right? You got to be hands free. That's a big difference to me. Like I said, so that's why I'm just like 4.54 when you always play off coverage anyways, and now you really can't get hands on these guys. It makes me a little bit, hesitant with them, man.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions you had going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else you got on your list? I got the two receivers. I got Burks and David Bell.
Oh, so I had Burks and then I had Charleston Rambo. Because for me, I thought Rambo, I needed him to be faster. You can't be small in terms of like thin. I mean, he was super thin with his weight and then run 4.57. I thought he was going to be a 4.4, 4.3 guy just watching his tape. Because we said, man, he looks like guys are scared of his speed. It was like, that's the reason why I was like, man, he could be a potential steal if you're getting him and he can go out there and run at 4.4, 4.3 and you improve the rest of his footwork and make him a little bit more consistent of a route runner. But 4.57, I was just like, man, that kind of was underwhelming for me with him.
Yeah. And with Burks, I feel actually really I know I brought up Kobe Bryant feeling similar the same way as Devin Lloyd, but there is a difference in just terms of where they were going to be drafted anyway, or just the talent, because Bryant was going to be second or third round. Devin Lloyd, always first round. And same with Burks. Some people are considering him the best receiver in the draft.
Seriously,
to go and run the 4.5 compared to some of the other receivers, it makes him look bad in the combine. At the same time, if I'm a team that's looking at receiver and specifically looking at Burks, and maybe you're later in the draft, I'm actually pumped about that, because that doesn't really change my opinion on him at all.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And we always say
he's a stud.
Well, we always say it's a part of the puzzle, right? You have to take it into account, but it's not the overall. It's not the end all be all. You want tape, you want combine, you want pro day, you want all-star game, and you take all of that in with the hope that these guys pan out. Because even with that, guys that have elite tape and tests, off the charts, they still can come in the league and be a bust. They still can come in the league and struggle. So it's not a guarantee that any of these guys that we're highlighting or even talking a little bit down on are going to come in and be world beaters or stink it up. But you just feel a lot more confident when a guy's athletic ability that you see on tape is also reflected when he's tested, because it just confirms it. Whereas otherwise you have to ask yourself, okay, is it the matchup? All right, was it the system? Was it, was it a bad day, or was it this? Or it just makes you have to question stuff that you typically don't want to question. Think about with Devin Lloyd. We weren't questioning how good of an athlete he was or how fast he was when we watched him on tape. We say, he can ball. But now you have to ask those questions when you see him tested in the exact same manner that everybody else was. It's not like they gave him it's not like he had to run 43 yards. He ran the exact same distance that everybody else ran. He had the exact same conditions that everybody else ran. And that's the beauty of the combine. And that's why guys like, me in smaller school guys liked it, because it's like, it's an even playing field. You can't talk about my quality of competition when we're out here doing the exact same thing at the exact same time at the exact same location. It's just different. So that's the part where now those questions become more relevant. You do have to entertain them now because of these guys underwhelming in a sense. Yeah.
Do you have anyone else? I mentioned David Bell. Only reason because he ran. You talk about him or him and Burks compared to the other receivers. He ran a 4.65, and then his athletic testing wasn't as good too, with the sub 10 on the broad jump. 33-inch vertical, not terrible, but still. Like he's a really good receiver though. If that means he falls a little bit, whatever, man. Because Cooper Kupp ran a 4.6 or something like that. Like that doesn't mean this dude can't still be an awesome receiver in the league.
But Big Ten receiver of the year. Man, I like how you throw out a Cooper Kupp. Like Cooper Kupp was. Come on, man. I see what you do. I like it.
What do you mean? No, I'm just saying this dude's a good receiver. So I'd be amped if I could get him in the later rounds. No, but we don't need him though. We don't need him for that because we have Deontay and Claypool, so I'm not looking for a guy maybe a
No,
little
I
bit
feel
on
what
the
you're saying,
slower
though.
side. I want the burner, but like if you're a team, you already got the fast guy.
Oh,
You
yeah, if
want
you're a
just a
team,
solid
yeah,
guy that has good
absolutely.
hands, but can possession catch. Then why not that
All
guy?
right, I agree with you on that. But like you said, if you're a team that wants speed, you want a burner, and you're like, oh, yeah, you're not what I thought you were. Whereas then you look at a Garrett Wilson, who we thought was going to be, oh, you're probably going to run a 4.5. And what does he do? He goes there and does the opposite. You're like, oh, okay, so you are actually a burner here. You see the difference of it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. It's like we can't get crazy excited when these guys run these crazy times, but then act like, oh, a guy running a slow time, oh, it's just as good, or we're not going to be tripping on that. That's all. I just kind of try to keep it all in the same. That's it.
No, right. Not saying
Yeah.
it's just as good. Like he hurt his draft stock. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. But at the end of the day, I mean, he could
Yeah.
still be a really good receiver. I mean,
Yeah.
he was an awesome receiver in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see why he can't do the same thing in the NFL.
No,
just
absolutely.
knowing that other people have tested bad at the combine.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know how it is. I just think there's extremes on both sides of this stuff.
Oh, it
I
always
think he
is.
could
It
still be a
always
really good
is.
receiver. He hurt his stock though, for sure. Because you're right. If a
Yeah.
team is just looking for a fast receiver, like that's one of their requirements,
Yeah.
then they're not going to have him on their list anymore. But there
Right.
are smarter teams out there. There's teams that can kind of see past that. And that's when they'll take advantage of a dude like
it's
either
funny.
or maybe even Birch
You
falling.
said smarter teams. I say just more risky teams because it ain't smart when that guy actually goes out there and plays slow. And we've seen that as well. That's my only thing. They might be a little more riskier. I don't necessarily say smarter. I ain't going to go there.
But just based off of 4.6 though,
I'm just
like a
saying,
4.6 40.
All I'm saying is this. When we say 4.6 and we're like, oh, no, he's going to play faster, but then he gets out there and he doesn't play faster, now you're like, oh, okay, maybe he's just not a fast player. That's all. That's all.
I get it, but then the numbers speak for themselves.
They do. I agree with you.
The 1,200,
Hey,
the double-digit
I'm
touchdowns.
with you. The numbers speak for themselves. Yes, he was productive. I'm with you, but he was also, it looks like, not fast. That's all. So they could both be the same. They could both be truth. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's a good player, but maybe he's not fast. That's all, man.
You got anyone else?
No, those are the main guys for me, man. Yeah, the two receivers, like I said, Burks and Rambo, Devin Lloyd definitely, and then like I said, Kobe, man, he was the one for me also on that perimeter. That just because, like I said, the expectations from my perspective were just a little bit higher, and when you see how all these other guys really exceeded expectations in a sense, like, dude, this is one of the fastest combines we've seen in a while. Like, it was a ton of speed out there. So forgive me for not being as cool on guys that didn't light it up with the speed because everybody was fast this year. That's all.
Let me correct myself. He had David Bell had 6 touchdowns. I was reading the wrong stat. 13.8 average per carry. I thought it was 13 touchdowns. My bad.
All good. All good. All right.
Okay.
Well, what do we have in
let's
this
go.
chat, man?
What's up? Yeah, is he the most recent one?
No, you said let's go. No, I got you. Yeah, it jumped a little bit on you. Should be Farron Bradford.
Is it Farron Bradford? I might have him.
The rise of, I believe that's what it is.
I have him.
Okay.
I got him. He says the rise of all these other receivers could mean the fall of Jameson Williams. Mm-hmm. We can't sleep on him at 20. We talked about that.
Yeah, we definitely did, man. We definitely did. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Jameson is probably going to be the 4th receiver taken now, maybe 5th, just depending on how, guys react or overreact in a sense to some of these 40 times that are out there. But that does help a case like us if we wanted to take him at 20. I mean, we would have that ability there because he could really be sitting there, which is interesting, man. So, like I said, I definitely like that, man. And it's a good situation. The Devin Lloyd thing we talked about, it's like, man, if he falls and he's at 20, like, yeah, man, we're still going to go up there and get him. I hope we do. We're still going to go get this dude because he can ball. But, yeah.
I'd be pumped about it.
Absolutely.
Farron Bradford says, I'm excited to see Beaver's pro day because if he could get a 4.6 40 and pair that with his shuttle time, his stock will rise.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he's a big-bodied inside backer as well, man.
Yeah, he's huge.
4.6 for him, and it's smart for him also. When you're a big guy and you're worried about your speed, don't run at that combine, man. Don't put that laser out there. You wait till it's the pro day. Yes, because pro day is that hand time, and we're going off the first thing that crosses the line. So that's why typically most guys' pro day times are always faster than their combine times. That's just one of the tricks of the trade. If you worried about your speed, you do not run that thing at the combine. Wait till your pro day. Wait till the pro day. So I'm with you on that, baby.
Josh Blanchett. How we doing, boys? Just wanted to pop in and share the love on this beautiful Monday. If we pick up Rogers,
man,
what do you think the length would be for the contract? At least 2 years.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be 2. I don't think he was going to stay for 3, maybe just in the sense, like, does he retire in 2? Does he retire in 1? That's my only concern with him, because you're hearing it flirt more and more. And yeah, when guys start to talk about it, yeah, typically they already, got that little nudge. They getting ready. So that's my only thing with that, man. But shout out to you too on this beautiful Monday morning, man. I actually haven't had a chance to look out and see how beautiful it is yet. I had to keep the curtains closed because it was pitch dark out here when we started the show. And last show, I had the thing cracked a little bit. You could see the day light going on my face. This camera getting darker and lighter just until there's light outside. So, yeah, I haven't had a chance to see it just yet. But I hope it is as beautiful as you say it is, man.
Let's go, UW. Well, I can't speak on other linebackers, but the important thing to remember is how much the Steelers value character in draft picks. Muma fits the old school Steelers mentality, a more athletic Vince Williams.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
so let's go. UW can give us some more personal information on Muma.
No, seriously, man. Yeah. Man, has he had any situations going on that we need to know about out there in Wyoming? I don't want to assume that there's not a lot of trouble that he could get into out there. But, I would assume that it's less trouble out there than compared to like a Miami or a LA or any of these other, metropolitan, more city or, more built up city places, stuff like that. So hopefully he has been chill and a good guy. But no, man, I haven't heard any negative about him. I keep looking into him more and more now because he's putting out more and more things to just validate what we've been seeing. And like I said, big time shout out to you. Let's go, UW. You were the first guy in here putting him on the map, hollering about him, man. So now we appreciate you for that, man.
Middle of last season, he was on it.
No, seriously, dude. Seriously. All right. And we have a new upper room member, Mr. Pop Rose. Or, excuse me, I don't even want to say Mr. I just say Pop Rose. Pop Rose, welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Man, we greatly appreciate your support for this channel, man. Always means a lot to us, baby. Welcome to the family. Hey. All righty. So I think that was it for our winners and losers, man. But we'll get this thing rolling a little bit more because it's about to be that 7 o'clock time, and I don't want us to have to run out of any time today, Deke. But we only got 2 topics left, and they're going to be a little bit more fun as well. But before we do that, can we pay a bill real quick? Can we pay a bill? Is that cool with you, Deke?
Go for it. 100%.
All right, so, it's that time of year, baby. It's March. And us Irish folk out here, we're always trying to get lucky, baby. You know how we do. So it hit me the other day. I'm in here, rub-a-dub-dub, scrubbing in the tub. Have my ultra premium collection, that 2-in-1 conditioner for the hair. The body wash, the lawnmower 4.0. Did I tell you, by the way, that it's waterproof, Deke? The waterproof one, with the light on it. So I'm in there, right, and I'm getting all groomed up, feeling nice and neat, smelling immaculate. I get out, I hit the nose trimmer as well. Can't have any of those weed whackers in the nose, you know what I'm saying? Get up out of there. And I FaceTime wifey. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, Deke, I'm feeling good over here. I was feeling good. So I was like, man, it might be that time. I'm like, hey, babe, what's up? She gave me that look. I said, whoa. And then the phone cut off. I didn't get lucky that day. But I felt like I was about to get lucky that day because of Manscaped, baby. So with that being said, don't mess around, baby. Do not mess around. Make sure you go to manscaped.com. And as we always say, if we're going to talk about it, we got to have action for you. Use the promo code Moats. Get that 20% off on all your purchases plus free shipping worldwide. So that way you too can get lucky like yours truly. And smell good. And I can assure you on this, when you are finished taking care of yourself, glamoring it on up and hitting it with that lawnmower 4.0, your delicate twins will certainly thank you, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All righty. Now, let's get to this second topic. Because the second topic that we're talking about today is a fun one. Because we got our first mock draft that we shall be discussing today. We talked about this, was it last week? We said, man, I forgot who brought it up in the chat. Was like, yo, man, we need some mock drafts, man. We're going to start doing that. And we were saying that, hey, man, usually we want to do them together. We want to do them live, but we couldn't. So we're going to take a different approach. It was like, we'll go ahead and get our mocks up early. and then we'll just start talking about them. And then obviously when I get back and we're on one accord, then we can start doing them live on screen as well. But to start it off with our mock draft, and for those that don't know, if you have not, all you need to do is, not if you have not, but we will be reading off mock drafts from you guys as well in later shows. Not today, but in later shows. So if you want to have your mocks included when we read those off, we'll do it Friday. If you want to have those mock drafts included when we read them off on Friday, send them in to moatswinners@gmail.com. moatswinners@gmail.com. Whatever your mock drafts are, send them in. We'll react to a couple of them on Friday's show. All right. That'll be our new thing, going forward for right now. All right. So make sure you do that. But start it off, man. Let's start with we'll start with Mr. Deke. His mock draft, man. So go ahead, talk to us, man. What was your situation? What were you thinking here, man? What was the mindset?
Pick by pick here?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, first round, Jordan Davis. Obviously tested really good at the combine. But here was my situation. Linderbaum was gone. Malik Willis was gone. Devin Lloyd was gone. And Nakobe Dean were all gone. Here's who was available. So we had Howe, we had Ritter, Pickett, and Corral. Receivers, Jameson Williams, Burks, and then also Dotson from Penn State. We had Raymond, offensive tackle, Trevor Penning, Kenyon Green was available, Zion Johnson, and then some cornerbacks, Petrie, Elam, Kyler Gordon, and also Hill. So I was thinking all those positions. I'm breaking it down. Quarterbacks, I told you, if it's not Willis, I'm not that high. I mean, I'd be fine with taking Pickett, but also I just feel like it's the smarter move to maybe go another direction. Yeah. Receivers, Jameson Williams, kind of feeling it just because of the speed. Speed kills, man. We talked about that, and that's something that the Steelers need right now.
It does.
But we're not going to be seeing them probably for the first half of the season.
Right.
Offensive tackles, not high on Penning. Don't know enough about this Raymond dude just yet. I feel like he's getting maybe a little too much buzz, though. Yeah. Guards, Kenyon Green, I really like him. But I'm feeling – here's my approach for my mock draft.
Okay.
I'm feeling we're addressing the offensive line in free agency.
Okay. I share this similar sentiment. I share this slightly similar sentiment, yeah.
That's what I'm going off of. So I was just like, kind of we need the – actually, this is maybe more of a luxury pick, especially if Tua comes back. But we still need that pure nose tackle. So we could rotate Jordan Davis, Tyson Alualu, and we might have a dude for the next decade to take on that Casey Hampton role. So that's why I want Jordan Davis in the first round. I feel like it's more based on some of the other dudes that were gone. As I meant, if Devin Lloyd was there, I would have taken him. Actually, maybe even if Linderbaum was there, I might have taken him too. Okay. But no, we're going Jordan Davis, and we're addressing O-line and free agency. The problem with the draft, though, is free agency happens before the draft, so I'm not even sure if we did address the offensive line.
Hey, but that's why we got multiple mocks. That's why we have multiple mocks right here. This is the first one. We'll have multiple of them, but I'm with you on that.
Brandon Smith in the second round, Penn State linebacker. Problem with this one was Christian Harris literally went the pick before because I would have taken him.
Oh, yeah.
All the quarterbacks were gone, so maybe sneaking Corral in the second round or Pickett in the second round. There was none of that. Yeah. Cornerbacks, all the cornerbacks that I mentioned were gone too. Here's who was available. We had Muma, Asamoah, Sky Moore. Oh, well, Carson Strong was there, but he's kind of like the tier below all the other quarterbacks that I mentioned. So I'm thinking to myself, man, Sky Moore, I would like to take him second round. We passed on some of the receivers in the first. But I was also like, man, could he maybe, just maybe, because he was there and also Christian Watson was still there in the second. I'm like, could either one of those guys slip to the third and maybe I could get a more value play there where I got receiver in the third, but maybe snag one of these stud linebackers in the second, which is what I did in taking Brandon Smith. He really tested good at the combine too. And just even watching some of his games, I mean, he was jumping off the tape too. He could be one of these modern linebackers that we were talking about. Good height, good speed. All that type of stuff. So I liked him in the second round. I think that was a good play, hoping that one of the receivers will be there in the third. Yeah. But we get to the third, both Christian Watson and Sky Moore are gone. So I had to look at what other receivers were available. Yeah. And here's some of the guys that went before my third round pick too. Troy Anderson. So like I could have maybe even doubled up. Linebacker went Anderson, Brandon Smith, but he was gone. Channing Tindall left. And then we also had Romeo Doubs and Calvin Austin available in terms of receivers.
Okay.
But I was pretty set because the corner there wasn't good value in corners at that point. And I think
I was noticing that. I was like, no corners, no O-line. I was like, ooh, okay.
I didn't see the value in either though. That's why I'm just like, bro, I hope we address the O-line and free agency. And the more I got later in the draft, I'm thinking to myself, all right, if we just bring back Leglue, if we have Kendrick Green and JC at center, we bring back maybe Haig. All right, I'm good with those dudes for depth, and then also just pick up a tackle, pick up a center, like whoever it is in free agency. Like I don't want to really waste a pick on a guy that's going to be just depth for us on the offensive line. Although that didn't happen last year with Dan Moore in the fourth. Yeah, but that's not a scenario that you want.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not take a dude that actually has a chance maybe to play, has a chance to make a difference? And Alec Pierce, bro, like, I mean, he tested really well at the combine too.
He definitely did, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he could be one of those guys for us. I know he's maybe flying a little bit more under the radar compared to Watson or Sky Moore.
But no, he's
still
impressive.
He could be nice for us.
I
feel like that was some good third round value. That's why I took receiver there. And then I'll kind of speed it up on these last few. Fourth round, Maryland connection, Nick Cross. I just want best player available at this point because we don't really need a safety unless we don't re-sign Edmonds. But I think we're going to re-sign him. And Nick Cross, it doesn't really seem like he's one of those hybrid safeties either. A lot of what I was reading was he was actually doing more single high. But what does that mean? Can we maybe move Minka down to nickel, slot type of stuff?
Yeah.
And I don't know. We could maybe do some weird formations, but a lot of people have him going maybe second or third round. So for him to be there in the fourth with how he tested in the combine, that's why I just took him. Whatever. And the Maryland connection to Tomlin, it felt like a no-brainer to me.
Oh, of course.
Sixth round, EJ Perry. Just get a quarterback in the room. Get an extra quarterback in the room. I'm assuming if we're waiting this long to draft a QB, maybe we pick someone up in free agency like a Trubisky or something. Actually, hopefully not, because now they're saying Trubisky is looking at like $10 million per year. If that's the case, hell no.
I don't want to do
that.
No. Yeah, I definitely saw that.
So EJ Perry, I'm thinking journeyman quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick, could he be a Tony Romo type that comes out of nowhere? Who knows? But worst case, you get a smart guy in the room that can maybe read stuff and be the right-hand man for either Haskins or Mason, at least early on. Yeah. Charleston Rambo, 7th round. I like him. I'm just taking flyers on receivers at this point. And then I go 7th round, Tyquan Thornton. They didn't have him in the database. I was looking for him. I actually want to take him where Rambo was. Yeah. But I was going to go Lucas Krull 7th round because he was still there, tight end out of Pitt. I like some of the stuff that he was doing just as maybe potentially become a second or third tight end for us. But at the same time, the more I thought of it, I'm like, let's just take the dude with the 4.2 speed and have him duke it out with Rambo, whether being on the main roster, practice squad, or whatever. Because I actually think Gentry is going to be like our solid number 2 tight end for years to come with what he showed this year. So that is my draft. I'm just hoping we address the offensive line and free agency. Yeah, that's all.
No, I like it, man. For me, man, I was a little concerned. Like I said, no corner, no O-line. But given that context, it makes sense why you didn't do that and why you did decide to go best player available.
I didn't see the value anymore.
Yeah, I love the Nick Cross pickup in the 4th round. I think that's huge. And even Alec Pierce, I thought that, him in the mid-tier round is also a good value because he definitely has shown some things. Yeah, and I don't hate the Flyers either at the end with Rambo and Tyquan.
Why not? Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Now,
maybe a little too receiver heavy in total, but
it's all good. It's all good. I can respect it though, man. I can respect it. Yeah. But I'm hearing that autocorrect. They're not feeling the Baylor school. They're saying that they don't like how it's spelled up there. I get it. It ain't that deep. I get it though, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. All right. We are.
Oh. No, that's the new way to spell it.
Yeah, that's the hip way. But it's all good. And then also, before I bring mine up, I did see that Pop Rose also spent the block, gave us another super, and he simply said this: "Get them likes up, baby." Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, man. We always got a dope crowd in the mornings, man. But we got to continue to get those likes up so that way everybody can continue to get this content after we get up out of here, okay? So if you haven't, make sure you hit the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We greatly appreciate you. Oh, and another shout out too, dude. Before I get all the way turned on mine, I forgot that we do have podcasts only. In terms of the audio only, I was up there for some reason the other day looking at it. I was like, yo, people actually leaving reviews and rating us. We appreciate that. Absolutely. I was thoroughly surprised. Like, oh, okay, all right. It's a lot more than I thought. So with that being said, man, y'all keep rocking with us on the audio only people as well. Or if you do the YouTube and the audio part, make sure, you know what I'm saying, hitting the little like button over there, giving us a little review and do all that other good stuff. I feel like I had to plug that in today. But
Yeah, we'd appreciate that too.
yeah, absolutely. But now time for yours truly. This is the way that I rode with my mock today, man. Started out.
I gotta look a little closer to the screen here.
Oh, you want to make it bigger for you? I can make it bigger for you.
No, you're good. No,
Oh,
you're good. You're good. I see
sure?
it. I just didn't know if that was Carson Strong in the third. You're good. You're good.
Oh,
Let's go
my
through
God.
it. I want to hear
Are
it.
you sure? All right. So for me, man,
yeah.
started out with Bernard Raymond, left tackle out of Central Michigan at 20. It was between him and Tyler Linderbaum, and the biggest difference was this guy has prototypical size, whereas Tyler Linderbaum is a little undersized, like we talked about. And I'm not going to lie, Kendrick Green has me a little nervous about undersized centers right now.
PTSD.
It just is what it is. So that was the biggest reason why for me, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill. So that's why I went with Bernard Raymond. I think that his tape looked good. I thought that he played well at the Senior Bowl. He's a former tight end turned left tackle, so you can see the athletic ability on full display. I think that he's fundamentally sound, and I think that he's just scratching the surface of how good he can be because of, like I said, him being a former tight end and just recently switching over to the left tackle spot. Second round, had to go with Let's Go U-Dubs, boy, man. After the way he tested at the combine, it was between Chad Muma, Christian Harris, and Brian Asamoah. And the biggest difference was this. I said that Asamoah was a little bit smaller than I liked, and Christian Harris doesn't cover as well as I like. And I thought that with Chad, seeing the athletic ability that he possessed, seeing the explosiveness that he has, along with me watching him and saying, dude, I know this guy has what it takes to cover at the NFL level, where we're talking man or zone, and saying to myself in Pittsburgh, what do we need? We need a cover linebacker. We need a guy that is rangy, a guy that is going to win in coverage, not a guy that's just going to be a downhill thumper. That's why I linked Chad Muma instead. Third round, I wanted to get another quarterback in the room. And in this particular situation, Carson Strong was available to me in the third. And I said, you know, this is a guy with prototypical size. He can run. The big knock on him is the knee. And outside of the knee, which is still very significant because he's had to have it worked on multiple times now, and it's significant. But he even said that last year, as productive of a season as it was for him, he was still dealing with it. He didn't have the mobility that he's accustomed to having because of the knee injury. He wasn't able to do some of the things that he wanted to do, and he still lit it up. That was why he got the invite to the Senior Bowl and everything. When I think of him and I think of that prototypical size and that big arm that he has, to me, it made me say, you know what, he's worth the flyer in the third round. Because like I said, I just want another quarterback in that room. Now, does that give him a chance to potentially sit down for a year behind Mason and really get that knee back? Because his father, from everything I've read, he had the surgery to repair some of the cartilage that he had issues with in his knee prior to the season starting, and he was supposed to be out for the whole year. He came back in 6 months. And he was like bleeding from the knee in practice and all type of nonsense. But he was like, yo, I have to be out there for my guy. So the toughness is there without a doubt. But I just say to myself, okay, you get him in the system. He allowed to sit for a year, really get that knee back to what it needs to be. Well, now you could potentially have one of those diamond in the roughs, still in a sense. So that was the reason why I linked to Carson Strong. After that, I went with Cordell Flott, the corner out of LSU. Now, he is a true slot corner. Smaller, quick guy, ball skills, not afraid to hit. I like the fact that he played in the SEC, so he's seen top-tier talent. He's seen top-tier speed, and he's played on big stages before, and it's not going to be too big of a moment for him. So that's why I went with him in the fourth. Then in the sixth, man, in the sixth round, I thought that this was just good value right here, man. TJ Pledger, the transfer running back. I believe he transferred, I think it was from Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. But, man, I just like the fact that he brings, you know, a legitimate potential number 2 element to that backfield for Najee Harris. I think that he reads the hole really well. I like his burst a lot. You can see the speed when he gets into the open field. He's elusive when he needs to be. I just thought that, man, he was a running back that when I look into our cupboard of running backs, we don't have what TJ Pledger essentially is in terms of that, not necessarily scat back Anthony McFarland, but not a thumper like a Benny Snell or a big body guy like a Kalen Ballage. I thought that he kind of fit that need in a sense, and I think that he would be a really good complement for a Najee Harris as well. Then in the 7th round, man, this is why I was taking a flyer. I said, man, I like our tight end room with Pat Freiermuth, and I'm even high on Zach Gentry. But unfortunately, Zach Gentry isn't as fast as a Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods is big speed. You watch Jelani Woods on tape, I think he still was 44. It was like 44 catches around 600 yards 600 yards receiving as a tight end. He's playing at UVA. I'm like, man, those are still decent numbers. But when you see the speed that he had, I think he ran, was it 4.3? I think it was. It's like, dude, that's flying. And he is a taller guy. So for me, I just thought, man, imagine Gentry with 4.3 speed. Imagine Gentry being able to run like that. So I said, man, I owe it to myself to take that, because as a linebacker who's had to deal with tight ends, you say, man, you're not worried about the strong tight ends. You're not worried about the big body tight ends. You're worried about the speedy tight ends. Those are the guys that can give you issues. And I just think that he had a natural ability to work the middle of the field. And like I said, just had soft hands for the majority of the time that I was watching him. And then the last guy.
Pick. Yeah.
And then the last guy for me was Charleston Rambo. I thought with Charleston, man, even though he didn't give me the speed that I necessarily wanted, I still, like I said, I take that as a piece of the equation, but it's not the whole problem. It's not the whole thing. I still believe what I see on tape with him in terms of his footwork, in terms of his hands, in terms of his explosiveness in and out of in and out of his breaks and stuff. And I just say, man, I think that he is worth the flyer if you're getting him in the 7th round. I think the value is still really good right there for him, man. So that was kind of for me why I went that route with him, man.
Yeah, I like the mock.
No, but like I said, that was kind of my thought process with it, man. Just being able to hit on every position that I wanted, getting my tackle, because I do think that we're going to still bring in O-linemen through free agency, whether you're talking a center or an additional guard or even another tackle. But you don't pass on a Bernard Raymond. And for me, when I saw how bad our offensive line looked this past season, I'm fine if we had all new starters out there. I don't think we have to do that, but if that was the case, I would still be fine with that. If they went that heavy in free agency and guys just got beat out, like, I'm cool with that also. But I felt like Bernard, man, he really would solidify us at one of those tackle spots and just take the burden off. And the fact that he's a left tackle, that typically is the more expensive position when you're talking about, bringing guys in through free agency. So that was the other reason why I was like, man, I would much rather draft him and have him at least that team-friendly element versus we going out here and paying one of these guys to come in here and be our left tackle. I just didn't want to do that. But Chad, man, I thought Chad in that second I loved. And then, like I said, Carson just getting a flyer on a big body, strong arm quarterback with athletic ability. And we know the biggest issue that he had was him just coming back too fast from the knee injury. So for me, man, I'm completely cool with that.
Yeah. So, we both had linebacker in the second. I just went opposite side of the field. For the first pick, I go D tackle instead of offensive tackle. How do you feel about, how much have you watched about Raymond? Because we are getting more and more connected to him, and if he's available. Yep. I know, obviously, we need offensive tackle, but do you view him as that type of dude, like decade-long starter as left tackle, or is he still a little bit more of a project?
Put it like this, I think he could easily develop into it. You have to remember, no different. When we talk about TJ, like being young at the outside linebacker position, and people were like, well, man, do you take this guy in the first round because of the potential that he has, because of, who his brother is and things like that? Or do you think that, he's kind of too much of a risk? It's going to be too much of a project. We saw how TJ worked out. He's, a Defensive Player of the Year award winner now. He's been one of the premier edge rushers for the past couple of years now in the league. And that was with him having a very small amount of time at that position collegiately. I think of Bernard in the exact same vein. Like, man, he hasn't been playing tackle his whole career. He's young at that position, but the athletic ability, the size, and the productivity, you see that. And I'm going to continue to watch more and more of him now, but I do think that he is a guy that, you take him here, he can develop into that 10-year, 12-year starter at left tackle where you don't even have to worry about that. And that's the thing for me that I just really liked a lot about him. I think that he does come in and give you an upgrade right now also at the tackle position.
We can move Dan Moore over to right. That's where we initially had him slotted in at until the injuries with Banner, and we had to move people around. And that made us have to
put him over,
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe we take this guy, left tackle, move Dan Moore over to right. We have Dotson coming back, and then we could re-sign Trey Turner, sign Jensen, re-sign They're not re-sign Turner. We could sign maybe another guard and then sign Jensen. We could make it work. Some like that's
what I'm
not
saying,
a
man.
terrible line right there. I
That's
mean,
what it's
if
like.
you
We
think
got
that's
some
not
options
much
there, man. We have
That's still
options
some
there.
cap space left.
Yeah, so that was kind of like I said, my thought process with it, man. I just think that if you hit the guys that we want to hit in free agency and you bring in these type of guys in the draft, like it can work. And no different than what you were talking about with yours, but it really is predicated on the Steelers getting other quality linemen.
Dude, my defense, our defense could be loaded if
without a doubt, dude.
We are able to address the line how I did. That defense could be loaded with Smith and then also Jordan Davis. Holy hell.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, so that was my mock, man. That was Deke's mock, and that was our first version, of our mock drafts for this year. Yeah, so we'll
I
keep
wish
these
Devin
things
Lloyd
rolling,
was available for mine.
Yeah,
I was disappointed. But Jordan Davis, though, I don't know. I feel a lot better about that
Jordan.
one even now.
I definitely like that, man. Without a doubt, man. So with that being said, man, like I said, continue to send your mocks in to moatswinners@gmail.com, and we'll react to those, like I said, on Fridays starting this week, man. All right, and I think we got some supers as well. So you get those, and after that, we'll go to this last topic before we get up out of here.
For sure. Okay, we got Pop Rose saying get the likes up. Just another reminder for that, even though we already read it. But just say, doesn't hurt to say it.
Get them up.
The Robarian. He says, I feel like a lot of smoke and mirrors are going on with drives for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible we might make a move for a big-time O-line or D-line, not quarterback.
No, honestly, that happens in terms of smoke and mirrors, because if you tell people right away who you want, well, what does that do for everybody else? They can raise the price up. It's kind of like if you're at an auction. I know you really want that car, and I know you only want to pay $5 for it. I don't really want the car, but I don't like you. So I'm going to go in there and put $5 in. You got to put $5. Then I'm going to put $6. Then you got to put $6. I'm going to put $7. You can go $7. Then I'm going to hopefully get out before, but your price going to be raised up, and that's going to set you off a little bit, knowing that for me, I didn't even want that guy. I wanted to get this guy. So that does happen. Without a doubt, that could definitely happen, man.
I think that was the only one.
All right. Bet that. Well, let's get to the final topic, man. We talked about this on Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to come back here and react today, man. UFC 272 took place this weekend. And yeah, not going to lie, man, I kind of enjoyed what I was seeing out there. I definitely did, man. Did you get a chance to tune in? You tapped in a little bit. I know it was on the pay-per-view. I didn't know if you had to, pirate one of them links or anything like that, if you found a friend to help you out.
No, I didn't see it live. I honestly forgot that the fight was happening. My Saturday night involved hitting the town, actually.
Oh,
it was
White
my
Claw Deke
sister's
was out?
boyfriend. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I was pretty drunk. But earlier in the night, we were talking about the fights. But like I said, as the night went on, didn't even remember a fight was even happening. I met up with our boy Nolak. I met up with him for a little bit. Talked to him,
man, the homie.
Yeah, so I got to see him. It was a good night.
But some more stuff from him, actually. Now that I think, I should have had it sent out here. I just didn't want to add to my luggage.
You know what? I got it on right now. I'll give it a shout out,
dude. Absolutely, shout out to the homie, man.
So I got to see him, but no, I got to watch it afterwards on YouTube.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was good. Actually, the first round looked like it was gonna suck. It was just gonna be Covington the whole time. But then second round, Masvidal gives him some action. Maybe a little bit more even. Maybe even would give it to Covington again.
Yeah.
But then the last three, it was really just Covington wrestling with him, taking Masvidal down, and Masvidal kind of looking outclassed. That's what I thought. There were some nice shots that Masvidal was taking.
Well, and Masvidal did drop him in the fourth as well. He set him down for a second.
Yeah. No, you're right. But then I don't know. Covington responded every time. It was like anytime Masvidal looked like maybe he got a little bit of momentum, it's like, no, now it's all Covington for the next 2 minutes. Yeah. Whether it was takedown or Covington got a nice shot or two. So yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting fight just because Masvidal did give him something, and it did go all 5 rounds. So you never really knew, what's going to happen. Man. Even though I'll put it to you this way, I knew who won going into watching, but I was just is Masvidal actually going to give him a better fight in this round or the next round? Is he going to actually come with something where it makes it more interesting? Yeah. So overall, I did think it was interesting just because you didn't know, but at the same time, it was Covington all the way, I thought.
Yeah. For me, man, this was one of those classic matchups, right? The wrestler versus the striker. This is something that I always love personally because you always want to know, man, if a guy's an elite wrestler, but this guy just has dope hands, can punch. Can he do enough to keep the wrestler off of him? And for the wrestler, can you do enough to close that that distance and ultimately get him to the mat where you are in your wheelhouse? But the thing that was surprising was this, not necessarily Kobe outclassing him from a wrestling perspective, because that's what Kobe does. Kobe, his weapon is cardio and wrestling. He is going to pace you to death. And then after that, he is going to wrestle you to death. And guys gas out versus him, and that's usually how he gets his wins. But the thing that was surprising was this. He actually outstruck Masvidal. I thought that he was the better of the two, even on feet when they were throwing hands. That was the surprise to me, because Masvidal, that was his bread and butter. And I thought, for as mad as Masvidal was supposed to be, as
early on,
as pissed as he was supposed to be, and all this other talk that he had, he looked like he was very cautious early on. He threw the little flying knee to start, but he wasn't throwing a ton of punches. And that was the part for me where I was like, all right, now what you were saying and all this other stuff, we got all this police in here for you. We can't even have you guys at the press conference together. You can't even shake hands before the fight. It's like, bro, you weren't fighting like you was pissed off. You weren't fighting like you had something to get off your chest. Whereas Kobe was little brothering you at times. I was waiting on Kobe to give him the nuggies for a second, man, when he kept putting him in the little headlocks and stuff, man. But then the thing that also got me was, like I said, when Masvidal did catch Kobe and knock him down in the fourth, he was like hesitant to go in there and really try to attack and capitalize on that moment. Now, it wasn't to the same extent of what Nate Diaz did to Leon Edwards, where Nate is getting dominated for 5 rounds and he catches Leon with a punch in the last 2 minutes, and he clearly has Leon dazed on his feet, but he starts to showboat. It wasn't that, but it was like, man, Jorge, attack. I just thought that Jorge, man, was really content being on the outside, fighting on the edge, and allowing his back to sit up against the cage, which I thought wasn't going to benefit him. And I know that was kind of how he would help defend himself against the takedowns, but it just limited what he was able to do in terms of his offense. And then I was also just laughing at the end of the fight where, the fight's over. Kobe is obviously grounding, pounding him, punching him. Because, you look at Masvidal's face. This is one of the first times I've seen Masvidal actually carry bruises like that after a fight. Usually Masvidal doesn't look beat up. Masvidal looked beat up in this fight, man. He was bleeding. His face was puffed up and everything like that. But it's like you see Kobe, dominant position, beating him up at the end. And then what does your boy Masvidal do? The fight's over. Now he gets up as if he wants to fight some more. Hey, man. Kicks at him. I'm like, bro, you just got kicked. You got your butt kicked for 25 minutes. 5 rounds total. Now that the fight's over, now you want to get up in that? You want to fight some more? Like, what you think was going to happen any different in that moment than the past 25 minutes? And that was my other thing with Masvidal, man. I was just like, bro, what are you doing? You're making yourself look real foolish right now, bro. Stop it.
Yeah, you were waiting for that moment, but he just kept. But Covington just kept getting those takedowns. That was the thing.
Yeah, but that was my thing. I'm just like, bro, that's a part of fighting. Like, that's the difference when you're talking stylistically. Wrestlers versus strikers. Usually your striker needs to be able to keep that wrestler off of him. But Kobe has shown development. Kobe has shown growth since losing twice to Kamaru Usman. Because that's the difference with Usman. Usman can wrestle at a high level, but Usman can also strike at a high level. That's how he was able to knock out Jorge Masvidal. And now you're starting to see that Kobe is starting to develop a little bit more. I would be interested to see that fight happen potentially again, not this year, because I do want to see Kobe Covington go against a Dustin Poirier. I think that's really interesting to me. But as a whole, man, I was definitely, I was impressed with Kobe, a little bit underwhelmed with what Jorge did. And then, like I said, just the way he was acting after the fight, I'm like, bro, don't have this energy now talking about, man, if I see him, wherever I see him, it's always on site. Man, I'm going to try and break his jaw. I'm like, bro, you just got your butt kicked. Like, man, cut it out, bro. I don't want to hit none of that, man. None of that. So that was kind of my feelings.
And you're right. He got
man.
Smoked standing up.
Yeah, bro. It's
it looked even kind of, but if anything, yeah, you're right. You give the edge to Covington on some of those strikes.
Right. So I'm like, man, you can't get outstruck. I mean, he got outstruck as well. Like, it wasn't close. I'm like, bro, you can't get beat on the feet and get beat with the wrestler and then complain like, oh, man, if it was different, it would be like, this is like, no, when y'all were standing, he still was tagging you, bro. Stop it. So, that was my thoughts with that, man. But one other fight that happened on the UFC 272, because like I said, I can go on for hours about this, man, whether we're talking about Rafael Dos Anjos, any of these other guys, but or even Kevin Holland, he looked good as well. But the other guy that I had to talk about, because he is one of our NFL guys, and he is a part of my draft class, Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, yeah, man, he had another rough go at it. This has become the trend for him. He was fighting, what's his name? Sergey Spivak, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, that got bad in a hurry. Yeah, seeing Sergey come out there, touch him up with no issues, hip toss him in terms of the head and arm throw, and literally just maul on Greg Hardy. I mean, to the point, like I said, the fight was stopped first round via punches, and Greg was definitely out of it. You see when Greg got up, he definitely did not know where he was at. He was dazed. He gets up like he's about to fight somebody. He's scared. Like, it was nuts, man. But I think for Greg, man, that might be his last fight in the UFC, dude. I know that was the last fight on his contract. I just don't see a scenario where they bring him back, because now that they're putting him in there with better competition, he's getting starched, bro. He's getting killed in like a round or 2 rounds tops now, and you're just seeing the lack of development. And he was a massive guy. He barely came in at the limit. You know, and it's like, man, you can't barely come in at the limit and then get slammed like no issue and punched on. Like, it's just not a good look at all, man. Not a good look at all, bro.
How do the contracts work? Because could he sign like a 3-fight one and you have it spread out a little bit more? Because I could see if you give him like 6 months break, then all of a sudden, or I don't know what a significant break is, but then maybe someone could be interested.
But that's how they already do these deals with him. He was already on one of those 4-fight contracts where he's fighting on main cards. Most guys like Greg Hardy are fighting on undercards. They don't get main card pay-per-views. His last 3 fights have been on pay-per-view, bro. Main card. That's different. That's big time different, and it's solely because of his name. So it's like, man, you're spacing these fights out. He has full training camps. He has times to go work on his craft. But the difference is he's a guy that's been doing this for a couple of years, whereas most of these guys have been doing this for a lot longer time. Think of it like if an NBA player was like, you know what, I'm going to train for, an off season and I'm going to go play in the NFL. It's like, bro, it's different over here. Like, you might want to go to college. It's a little different over here. And then they come in here and they struggle. They see it. Oh, this is not what we thought it was. That's kind of how it is with Greg when you're watching him in the UFC. It's like, versus lower level competition, sure, Greg looks great, but versus the elite tier, it's like, no, he's going to struggle, and that's continued to show up with him, man. So, yeah, with that being said, man, I don't see him coming back. But that is all we have for today, because it is 7:33, and like I said, I do got to get ready to talk to the littles. But before we go, let me give a big time shout out though to the local school, man. My where my squad is at. South Fayette, their women, South Fayette Lady Lions, they did win the Whip Hills. Yes, indeed. They won the Whip Hills this weekend, man. So got to get them a big time salute. It was great to see that with the ladies. A couple of the girls were actually from, my team that I coached a year ago, 2 years ago. So that was cool to see them out there as well, having that type of success, man. So salute them, man. All the little South Fayette Lady Lions Whip Hill champions out here, man. Big time love. But yeah, baby.
It was your coaching, dude.
Stop it, man. I ain't going that far now. But it was cool to see somebody. I'm like, yo, I see you. Oh, and you. Oh, proud moment, baby. So with that being said, though, man, we appreciate everybody that had tuned in with us today, man. Hope y'all have a great start to your week. And as always, until next time, baby. Peace.